Welcome to Matrix Talk. Well, for those joining the recording, because it's just
here.
because we're talking about a topic that, well, we'll get to it. This is specifically, let's talk about the karma of Trump, and we will get into what we mean by that. In the first place, though, you can notice that there is a big screen in front of you. It says register for APA approved training events, which is true, but the certification that we have is not APA. That's not. But it's on there. I put it up there. The We the We and Me Matrix certification. And,
looks wonderful.
So let's see what else. And then in the upper right somewhere, you can follow us. And in the lower right, I gotta put mine in there.
Yeah, chat in.
I'll put in hello from Maine. There we go. And since it's just Phil and I, we'll get started.
Yeah.
We will do our thing. We are not here to pick on Trump. That, by the way, we will.
Sorry to disappoint anybody who's showing up.
Disappoint you, but we're not here.
Throwing darts.
We're here to pick on us.
Yep.
The collective us that sets things up so that our karma is getting Trump. Trump's just doing us a favor.
He's the finger pointing at our karma.
Right. He is saying that's what you get when you go, well, when things get too narcissistic.
Right.
When it gets too hedonistic.
Too me-ish.
What's that?
Too me-ish.
Yeah, too me-ish, right. And he's just pointing out what happens when a society, I'm talking the United States right now, does that. And you're saying, well, what's Kevin talking about? Well, let's see, churches are down. Okay,
yep.
Church attendance is way down.
Check.
And that schools are in dire straits.
Oh boy, are they!
And they're in dire straits. But Phil and I both know he came out of the education system, and we all know many people in it. The schools now basically teach to the test, meaning the individual students score on a test, and they only become a collective when those tests are averaged in with everybody else's test scores, and then the school either gets a gold star or
funding
and all kinds of stuff based on scores on tests. Why am I saying that? Well, that's those civics education, basic education between what's right and wrong. That's gone out of the schools.
Not being taught.
And Phil and I went to public schools in Oklahoma, and Phil went to Catholic schools.
Catholic school. Yep.
But we both got those kind of classes when we were growing up.
Yep.
So it wasn't, and I'm sure almost everybody did ethics, and all kinds.
Yeah, ethics. Yeah, it does. Doesn't exist now.
And it's just not. Why? Because our focus is on the sciences and math, and
right.
If you're doing writing, it's for business writing.
Yeah.
It's all for, but it turns out about me. It's all about me. What other politics? They've always been pretty much about me, but there was at least a few people that were a little more on the we side that straightened things up.
You know, politics did start out as a we, and then it kind of segued into a me.
Right. So we're here saying, karma. I mean, we're using the cute term of, karma. Karma's a bummer, meaning what goes around comes around.
Yeah.
And so Trump has just come around to bite us in our collective butts. And I forgot to add, we then had something that Phil and I are part of. We had the psychology movement.
Yes, we're guilty as charged.
The guilty is charged. So back in, let's just start with Freud. We'll just start there. We could start elsewhere, but we'll
Yeah.
start,
Go there.
and forward. Well, so the focus of conversations become about the me. It's how do I fix me?
The psyche.
The psychology, that's psychology of the individual. Social psychology never has done that.
Heck with that stuff.
The heck with that stuff, you know? And, and so, basically the psychologists who are focused on the me, with precious little focus on the we, ruled. And like the sociologists and folks like that, no, they were playing way, 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 way back second fiddle.
Yeah.
So all of this stuff comes together. So churches are less, and churches more and more, there's just quite a few of them that are nothing but political megaphones. Which, now, I guess that's gone on forever, but still, at least there was a good portion of them that were big into teaching right and wrong.
Yeah.
Ethics, and do unto others.
Staying above the fray, as it were.
Stand above the fray. Be kind to others. Do what Jesus would do.
Yep.
Which means, go befriend prostitutes and be nice to them. Jesus, he was just nice to everybody, right?
Yep, pretty much. He was a good deed doer.
According to lore. Well, that message was front and center with the religion.
Yeah.
I know people in religion now, and no, that's not. That's not what it's about. But neither is education. Bill's old place.
Oh, yeah.
But you know what? Psychology doesn't talk about morals and interacting with other people. Psychology talks about, oh, you poor thing, you're anxious. We need to fix that. Oh, you poor thing, you're depressed. We need to fix that. Well, guess what? It has not worked.
We ain't fixed nothing.
Well, our suicide rate has skyrocketed.
Yep. Anxiety and depression,
Skyrocketed.
loneliness, all of that stuff.
That's skyrocketed. So for all of our fancy harump, we're such great psychologists, we haven't helped.
Nope.
I mean, seriously, folks, if you're a fellow psychologist, you'll get mad at me. Bill doesn't, but others would. We just haven't helped. We haven't.
No, we're
And
not.
I would go back to the simple thing that it was focused on the me. And you might say, if you're watching this on a recording sometime in the future, why does he keep saying the we and the me? Well, long ago, after 2000, first matrix to come along was the me matrix, 2009. Then in 2011, I developed the we matrix. It's also known as the pro-social matrix, but let's just call it we. And so since then, it's always been that thing about, we oftentimes say the we and the me, or the me and the we. And the way Phil and I have trained it is that we do the me first, and then we do the we.
Right.
So starting today, we're switching it. And you'll see coming up in a crowdcast where we will announce it to the lists, our lists and everything, that no, we're going to flip it. We're going to start with the we. We think that's more important. A human being connected to the
Fellow
greater good. That should carry the day. And your hedonistic narcissism should be in second place.
Take a back seat.
And I am hedonistic and narcissistic as anybody. Come on, I got a PhD. It just sort of comes with the friggin' territory to be a little bit snobby and narcissistic, and I'm smarter than lots of people and all of that. That can come on board, and I can certainly have people show up that sort of support me in that. Ooh, Dr. Polk, you're so smart. And here comes the narcissism, right? Well, fine. Whatever. It just needs to take a back seat to the we. What can I do to help folks out? Now, in the United States, it's how can we come together in the United States and take care of everybody,
Yes.
which is basically it. Okay. An example of I often use is that there's quite a bit of research that shows that we humans work best around about 150 people.
Yeah. Tribe size.
Tribe size, right? And given that we've only had not tribe stuff for
Yeah.
literally 1,000 or 2 years, which is
Yeah.
nothing. So we're equipped for that. So, but if we all did just live in a village of 150, well, we wouldn't be letting 50 of them starve, you know,
No way.
be homeless.
Yeah. We wouldn't be walking past 10 people just laying flat on the ground.
Yeah, we'd be helping them out, you know. But it's because of the largeness of our system that we can now have many. Well, heck, I don't know how many square miles Skid Row in LA is.
Oh man. Well, I'm thinking
I
right down the road for me, Kensington, Philadelphia.
Right. These are pretty large places.
Yep.
And people just walk by them. We don't take care of our fellow humans. And I go back, that wouldn't happen if it was just 150 of us. So we really, 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 really need to focus on the we. And we've been focused on the me so much that we got Trump, I don't know, he doesn't follow the societal rules.
He never has.
If you're a Trump supporter, you'll hate me, but he just doesn't.
He doesn't.
He just doesn't. And,
That's right.
and in the end, I mean, for his supporters, which is a minority of people that would think, oh, well, that's okay. But for the vast majority of folks, that's not okay. It's just not. He is not helping the greater good. If you
listen closely to what he has to say, he doesn't talk about we.
Well, now it's all about him and his his
me.
legal problems. But once again, I'm not here to pick on him. Before him, there was a whole parade of Trumps before Trump.
Oh yeah. It's a procession.
It's a procession of them. And why? Well, they take advantage of when the focus of a society becomes about the individual instead of the group.
Yep.
And they take advantage of that. So, I don't know. Well, whether we can, I have no power over much of anything except those two loops.
Right. Yes.
I created the first loop, the me matrix, and then I created the second loop, the we matrix. And then Phil and I together, and I guess just because the me came first in 2009 and the we came second in 2011, we just stuck with that sequence.
Never varied off of that.
It didn't occur to us to vary off.
Didn't really, right. It never occurred to us to do that.
But this morning, and in reading other stuff by other people, I just thought, we need to change that around. We need to put the we first and the me second. And there you go. And that's all we got. We don't have.
That's it.
I don't think we're going to go in and change the education system by next week.
No way.
I don't think we're going to go in and change the politicians.
No, we're not going to get them on board either.
Going to get it. There's nothing that we can do.
However, keep going.
Yep, it's all going to keep going. However, there will be a few thousand, maybe tens of thousands of people in the world that will hear about us switching, making that switch. And now they can have a discussion about it. Why would you do that? Because we need to be focusing on the we. And by the way, it's in your own, all of our own best interest to focus on the we. It's the we that keeps us alive, not
Yep.
the me. Watch these shows where alone and other ones where they have people
Yeah, you're
go off.
trapped all by yourself.
Right. They don't, even if they make it for a few months, it's very clear that they would die in a year or two
Yeah,
all by themselves.
they
just,
can't sustain that.
they just can't. It's just too much. There's just we're just not equipped. Why? Because we got these brains that have all these social connections. That 150 people social connection thing.
Yeah.
We're wired.
That's our sweet spot.
Right. We're wired for cooperation. So you gather firewood. I'll get I'll get some water. Somebody else will go find some food. And together we bring those together, and then we can all survive. You know? But if I got to do all of that by myself,
Not happening.
which is sort of what you watch on Alone. If you ever watch the History Channel,
History Channel.
which is it. So the person, well, they got to be making the fire. Okay, and then they got to be. Of course, they don't have to. There was one guy who won by not making a fire. He did. He said he didn't need it. He didn't. He won. He also won. He didn't gather food. He had just put on a bunch of extra weight, and sometime in it, he just sort of calculated in his head, if I just sit here, bundle up,
Don't move around, save calories.
right? I won't exactly. I won't do that, and it worked for him. But once again, there was a ticking clock on him.
Right.
Because he couldn't keep that up forever. Eventually, he's going to run